Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. So today we have another one of these Purple Range pocket money Matchbox kits from the 70s. In fact, in this case, I've got two copies of it. Actually, I've got one that's a pristine version from the 80s. Actually, I think this one is actually 1983 that we have here. But I've got the original, but slightly battered one. Actually, this is not. People keep saying, "How have you got all these mint condition Matchboxes?" I think they think I'm manufacturing them. No, this one is a bit bashed. Actually, it is an original though. This is a 1974 when it first came out. So this is like generation 2. Was the first ones came out in 73, second tranche in 74, and the third tranche in 76. They all had the original boxes with the window in it. That one doesn't, of course. That one is all shrink wrap, so we can't really crack into that. But we'll have a look at the artwork because it's the same on both. And it's a bit nicer on this one, so I hope the reflections don't cause too many problems though. But somebody's really preserved this one, I've got to say. So here we go. It's the heading for Berlin. It's the Chaffee M24 tank, introduced at end of 1944, early 45. Sort of the Brits came up with the Comet, and the Americans came up with the Chaffee. So slightly beefier but small, fast tank, very, very rapid. So it had slightly better performance than the Sherman, slightly better armour, better angled armour as well, you might say. What does it say here? It says Chaffee M24 tanks supported by infantry fight their way through the small streets of French towns in the race to reach the German Rhine in January 1945. So this will be, you know, the east of France, Metz or somewhere like that, I think. This one is PK-79, as we can see there. Got the artwork on the ends, and of course it has the details for the paint guide. Yeah, what a small little dinky tank it is. It's very well balanced. It almost looks like, if it turns its turret around, you won't know which way is front, which way is back, because it looks the same front and rear, doesn't it, really? Shows the colour call-outs there. Quite an interesting camo pattern on this one, as you can see. And then of course on the reverse we've got and then this one, I say this one does not have the window. The one we're going to look at does, but it gives you what the finished model will look like once you've completed it and put your decals on. No paint is necessary, etc. But this one, obviously, it's interesting because I'm not sure about this. When you actually see that sign, that's clearly in Western France. That's the Cotentin Peninsula. I'm not sure that they had Chaffees when they were fighting there. I think they came in a little bit later, but anyway, we won't worry about that too much. We'll put this mint example down for a second, leave that over here, and we'll have a look at the one that we can have a look at, which is here. So I'll say it's a little bit bashed. We'll take a closer look. It's not too bad. It's always worth, you know, considering. It was so bashed and faded looking actually that I decided I was going to make this, but I never quite got round to it. I'm just reluctant because they are such collector's items. Even though it's not in mint condition, it's still an original 74 box, and yeah, bit reluctant really. Anyway, let's have a look inside, and I'll try and be gentle. Not do too much damage. Whoops. Oh, in fact, I've got the tracks off. The tracks are off the track sprue. More proof that it's not in prime condition, this one. So we've got instructions, we've got some decals. Let's have a look at those. Let's see. I do like the yeah, I won't put it off too much. I do like the way they do this dioramaing, and they've got the sign that is for the signpost with the directions on it. You know, that's quite neat, isn't it? But they look all right. I think they'll work, those decals. They always look a bit nasty because they've got this, you know, the paper looks a bit crinkled and a bit yellow browned, but don't be put off by that. They often come like that and they're usually fine. So what have we got now? Now this is interesting. This is very interesting. This one comes with a white instruction. It's a genuine one. I don't think it's a copy, but it's a white one. Normally these would be purple. Now there have been odd examples I've seen where I think they literally ran out of purple ink, but I don't know. It makes it look different, doesn't it? For an early 74, that's odd, I have to say, but it looks genuine. Just not quite right. It may just be they ran out of purple ink and didn't print it properly, but anyway. So it says, yes, it came out in April 44, first production. And by June 45, end of the war, 4,070 had been produced. That's a lot, isn't it? And they were used also in the Pacific campaign and the Korean War against the T-34 tanks. Had a range of 100 miles and could cruise at 25 miles an hour. So it was quite quick, and it carried 48 rounds of 75mm shells. So the actual gun on the tank, I think, is the same as on the Sherman, but it's just a bit lighter, a bit faster, and better armoured. On the rear, we have got the call-outs for your decals, and we've got the 12th Armoured Division of the 43rd Tank Battalion, or we've got the 13th Armoured Division of the 24th Armoured Tank Battalion. Inside we've got the different colour call-out pattern that you can have, and it's that scheme we saw on the box art, and it's just telling you, the mini paint guide just tells you to, paint the black rubber on the sort of drive bogey wheels and machine gun. It's a Browning 50 cal, isn't it? And then the machine gun at the front. So let's have a look. What have we got? So, I've actually zoomed in a bit too much there, haven't I? So, you start by building up your tub, very similar to the other ones we've seen. And then you build up your little bogey return idler wheels and the drive sprockets and the return wheels. Make up a set as indicated. Putting all those in once you built up your chassis, and your return rolls at the top. Rubber bands get put together, and then very, very sort of conventional stuff this. Building up your turret, putting the mantlet on, adding the gun. And this one, I've got to say, has got quite a nice, in contrast to the recent review I did on the Panzer III, which had a very basic diorama. This has got a bit more. It's got sort of roadway, it's got some sort of like a verge, it's got a sign, and it's got some sandbags, like a little foxhole at the side, which looks really good. So that's nice, it gives it a bit more character. And then in terms of finishing the build, you bring your big Browning 50 cal goes on the top, hatches go on, popping in your turret into the top of the hull, and then there's not a lot goes on the hull apart from machine gun. There's like some side mud guards, sort of pontoon mud guards at the side, and then you just bring the three elements together and that's it, you're done. So fairly straightforward really. But it's very conventional the way it goes together. Let's have a look at what we've got on the sprues. Here we go. So we have got, best viewed this way I think, we've got the side, sort of pontoon sides where all the suspension is and your wheels are going to go in, and then we've got lots of wheels. So you've got outer wheel and inner wheel. It's like almost like a ring, isn't it? Like a washer style, the way that you put it together. And then these are the main wheels as you see them on the outside. These are the inner wheels. And then you've got your sprockets, drive sprockets, and your return wheels, idler wheels. You've got your machine gun 50 cal on the top here. And then you've got some sandbags here, which we just talked about, little sandbags that goes at the side, and here as well, on the other side, which is quite cool. And then of course we've got this roadway for the diorama, and it's classic Matchbox, really nicely moulded, basically just a muddy road, essentially, a muddy lane, with tank marks, tank tracks in it, as you'd expect. You've got the sign here. This is the sign at the side of the road that it's going to be put in. So that gives it some really nice character, I think. The other sprue is here. On this one we've got the verge and the basic hull of the tank. So we start with the tank hull, and we've got these sort of pontoon style mud guards that go right the way down the side of the tank and protect the return idler wheels. You've got the base floor here, some of the suspension, lower suspension, mounting points fitted in there. Then you've got your tank turret, which is quite cool, and the mantlet, which is here. The base for the turret here, and you've got the sort of outer mantlet sort of glasses for the gun here, and the gun itself, which is actually almost easy to miss. There it is here. And then, of course, last but not least, we've got the actual bit of diorama, this sort of foxhole at the side of the road, and there's 2 holes here for where you're going to put your sign, and around here you have your sandbags for the GIs to jump in if they get shelled, which looks like it happens a lot because it's surrounded by shell holes. And there we have it. Now I did actually build this many years ago. Nice kit, no problems at all. Usual thing, you know. I'm sure lots of you watching will have probably made this one. And it's again, it's a nice sort of late war American tank. Great diorama. What's not to like, really? Another cracker from Matchbox with some animation and some thought going into it. Unfortunately, mine's got one of the tracks has fallen off. Maybe I'll make this one day. It would go. I've got a whole collection of them. You've seen some of them. It would go quite well with those, in fairness. They're not too big that you can't always find a spot for them in the cabinet, you know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video review. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and share and subscribe if you haven't already. And please watch this space closely, because to help you, ring the notification bell, by the way, because that will give you an alert to say another review is coming. And in the meantime, until next time, thanks for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Thanks a lot and bye for now.